What is up? It is your girl, Sherry Player Tucker, and welcome to another episode of God Told Me to Do It, the podcast. And today I have the pleasure of having one of my homegirls since forever and a day, OG Mac Girly. That's where we met. Makeup artist extraordinaire who is fully living out her dreams. Everything that she said she would do back then, she's doing now and then some. Let's welcome my friend, Camille Ariane. How are you?
I'm fine. Excuse my voice.
It's all right. Y'all know whatever it is that's going around is getting everybody and
It
it's,
is.
it's attacking the voice, but the devil is a lie. We're going to have a great pod.
Mhm.
And today I want to talk about faith from a different angle with somebody who is working in the industry who a lot of times, especially in the super Christian space,
Yeah.
any type of music industry, entertainment industry is always looked at as just evil, demonic. But there are people who are meant to be a light in the dark spaces
Yeah.
and who are very steadfast in their faith and in their belief in God. And I truly believe you are one of those people. And it's
Mhm.
shown in how you've walked out just the God ideas that He's given you, how you've executed, and how you move in the space, and even the type of work and the clients that you take. So I would love for you to just talk to the people about, well, we're gonna go to the beginning first. How did you even get your start in makeup?
Ooh.
And how has faith been an anchor along the way?
Okay. Well, for one,
Mhm.
I went to school for radio and television.
Okay.
So I thought I was going to be a producer. I got pregnant when I was a senior in college, and I wasn't sure if I was going to keep the baby.
Mm.
But I went to church, and God told me, that was the first time I felt the Holy Spirit. Yeah, and he was like it was like such an overwhelming feeling, and he told me, like, I heard him. He was like, "Keep your baby." And I was like, "Okay."
Wow.
Literally.
First of all, I didn't even know that.
I thought I told you that.
No,
Yeah,
because I had a similar situation with my
insane.
oldest.
It's insane.
So I don't think I've told a lot of people this. I don't even think I've told you. Um, I was in a long-term relationship.
Mhm.
It was done. I ended up getting pregnant after we broke up.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, I don't want to be connected to this person for the next 18, 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get an abortion. I scheduled it. And the morning of, I go into my living room and go into the middle of my floor and I'm just crying like, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should do this. And that was the first time I ever felt the presence
Mhm.
of God.
Mhm.
And literally, it just felt like I was enveloped, like I was being hugged
Yep.
from behind.
Yep.
And after that, I got up, I wiped my tears, and
Yep.
I was like, I'm going to keep this baby. And that's what happened.
Yeah. And I mean, and the fact that you said that, like, I guess I should have added that as well, because
Mhm.
I had the same experience. I went to have an abortion and I was overwhelmed with tears. And I
Mhm.
was like, no. I like something just told me to walk out. And I
Mhm.
walked out. And then his grandmother, my son's father's
Mhm.
mother, took me
Mhm.
to church. She was like, let me just take you to church.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when I was like, I'm having a baby. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't
Wow.
even tell my mother. I did not tell anybody. So I'm walking around, a senior in college. I had 2 jobs, an internship, and was in school. Insane.
Oh my
Got fired from my job because I fell asleep. I was like, I'm pregnant. They were like, no,
we don't
you
care.
gotta go. We do not care. And then I had my son. I was actually a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking, I said, well, what can I do? And it came to me that someone told me, like, it was so long ago, but they told me they liked the way I did makeup.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you I found this reference picture and it was terrible.
What was it?
It was in high school.
Uh-huh.
And I had purple eyeshadow
Uh-huh.
and these big lashes that were not even glued down. And it was me taking a picture of me looking down like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at this picture and I said, okay, God, I'm going to be a makeup artist. I didn't know how I was going to be a makeup artist. I didn't know why, but I just started chasing the dream. Like literally, I moved back. I was in the Bay.
Mhm.
I moved back home. God told me, like, you need to find a mentor. I bugged this lady for 2 years straight. I said, I don't care. I just wanna know. And
Mhm.
she said, do you even know why you want to be a makeup artist? And I'm just like, no, but because I really didn't.
Yeah.
So she told me, she said, you need to go and look at the people before you. That's when I discovered Sam Fine, Reggie
Mhm.
Wells, Pat McGrath. And I was like, immediately, it was like a wave washed over me. And I was like, this is going to be my life.
Man.
Like, this is going to be my life.
And what people don't know, well, for those that don't know, who don't know the makeup jargon, the people that she named are like makeup juggernauts in the industry, okay? Reggie Wells was like Oprah Winfrey's makeup
Yeah.
artist. Sam Fine has touched everybody from
Literally.
Janet Jackson to Iman to
Yep.
literally everybody in America.
Yep.
And Pat McGrath, I mean, she's just
Who's
a
Pat McGrath?
trailblazer,
Yeah, she
a
is.
trailblazer in the industry. So
And all Black women and men.
that part,
So how exciting for me to be
man,
amongst this type of quality of people.
I'm really tripping out because our stories are very parallel. I don't think
They
we've
are.
ever like talked about those little details.
But we've
So
always connected.
always, just
Always.
cause.
Like when I remember when I first like met Sherry, she was this tall. She was so tall. And it was like she had a light behind her head. I don't know if I even told you that. She had like a light and her hair was purple. It was purple. We were working at Mac and I was like, I want to be like her.
That is hilarious.
I want to be like her. And it was like such a big deal to like work at Fox. Like,
Oh,
where we
yeah.
worked. We were called Foxies.
Yes.
We were the Foxies.
So back in the day before it was what? Westfield Shopping Town. It was the
Right.
Fox
It was
Hills
the
Mall.
Fox Hills
Okay.
Mall.
And it's still Fox Hills to us.
Mhm.
And so to be a Mac artist at the Fox Hills Mall
Like
was a
cream of the
huge
crop.
deal.
Huge deal.
But I didn't get that. Like, so let me tell you
Because
this.
you were an artist. That's why. You were an artist. You weren't there for selling makeup. You were an artist. People bought things from you because of how you looked. How she looks right now is how she looked when I met her. Her face has never changed. Beat down.
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 I mean, I will say down.
Down.
But let me tell you how we even got there. I worked at Up Against the Wall in the Lakewood
my
Mall.
God, I did not know that. That was the spot.
Yes.
That was the spot.
I worked at Up Against the Wall in the Lakewood Mall and I was making like $7.25 an hour. It was like minimum wage.
That is insane.
And someone came to me one day and was like, you know, Mac starts at like $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, really? I was like, well, I'm going to try to work at Mac. Right? No makeup experience other than friends in high school on the cheerleading squad. Hey, Sherry, do my eyeshadow. Hey, and I had the little cheap kit that you get for Christmas that folds out, has those cheap brushes.
We
the
all had
eyeshadows.
one of those fold outs.
Right,
We all
come
had
on.
those.
Back in the caboodle
Yeah, we
days,
did.
you know?
Hello.
So I would just do this makeup and it was so dusty.
Yeah.
It was
all
so
of it.
dust.
All of it. Gold, silvers, blues.
Right.
everything.
And so I wanted to elevate my makeup game. So I finally bought my first MAC product, which was a Studio Fix powder in NW45.
Mine
which
was Sumptuous Olive.
girl.
The eyeshadow. The green one.
Why was my eyeshadow electric eel? It was a neon blue.
The fact that we know these and we talk
Yes.
MAC still is hilarious.
But why am I even wearing that? To this day,
Because it was a thing.
I don't wear blue eyeshadow, but that's a whole nother story.
Yes.
But all that to say, I bought my first MAC items and I was like, you know what? I think I could work here. Like, I just liked the vibe.
It was a vibe.
And so I started practicing on the girl that would be my model.
Yeah.
And when I took her into my interview, she wiped off her makeup and she had no brows.
Oh, that's when God said, oh, you're going to do your big one here. Because you slay the brows. What are we talking about?
I learned how to slay brows
Yeah, you
after the
did.
fact. But she had no brows. Now, mind you, I'm practicing on her this whole time. She had brows. I thought they were hers.
I feel like that ended up being, but that was our tried and true. At our
Yes.
particular counter, we coined the beat down brow.
Yes, we did. Everybody knew Fox
came.
Hills
Everybody
for the
came
eyebrow.
for the brows.
Hilarious.
If your brows weren't fire, I mean, remember it was like a list, a wait list.
Right.
Insane. But you were always such a great artist. Always.
Thank you.
Always.
You know, I will have to give that to Angel. So at that counter, when I worked at Fox Hills, I got hired in 2003 as a part-time artist, and the entire management team was all Black women. So Angel was my
Wow.
manager. No, Danielle was my manager.
Ooh.
Angel was my assistant manager, and Erica Gwen was my third key.
Shh, man, you was with greats.
Listen, off top. So my very first day, I did a makeup on a client. It was horrible. I never knew how to put on lashes. The glue wasn't sticking. It was horrible. The lady cursed me out. Get this bee out of my face. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Of course.
And Angel pulled me in the back and said, "We've hired you.
Get it together.
I need you to learn, and I need you to learn quick." Da, 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 da. And from that day, by the end of the first year, I was probably one of the top artists there, which was so crazy.
You were tenured by the time I got there. I started on Black Friday.
You did?
Black Friday.
Oh, it was wild.
Insane. Because what? Why would they do that? Also, I never interviewed to be a MAC girl. The lady just loved me. Insane. Turns out, as I have gone through my makeup journey, she's actually best friends with one of my top clients, Ingrid Best. That's her best friend. And
so you've been knowing her for years.
She remembered me. And I was just like, that is crazy. And I feel like the reason why she hired me, if I'm like being frank, is because I thought I was so fly. And I came in my all black, right? And I had this sheer top with a neon bra. And she's just like, yeah, your outfit is really great, but lose the bra, kid. And I was just like, I was so mortified. I was like, I didn't get the job. I didn't get the job. Definitely got the job.
That is wild.
Definitely got the job.
Man, we entered into the industry at a time where we were just focused on becoming better artists.
There was no Instagram.
It was no Instagram.
Nothing.
It was just fun and vibes and learning and training.
Music was our thing.
Man, I was just telling somebody how the soundtrack to my initial interaction at Fox Hills was Tidra Moses' album, Complex Simplicity. We listened to it every day.
That is crazy.
So the fact that she just celebrated 20 years of that album.
Insane. I feel like those were some of like my best days. And honestly, that's how I became such a great artist, because I learn at my best when I'm learning from other people.
Yes.
I didn't go to school for makeup. I just came from college, was in debt. I had to learn from other people. So I picked up so many pieces along the way and I made it my own. And I kept saying to myself, how am I doing this? But it's because how I learn is I'm a hands-on learner.
Same.
You know, and I can sit there and I can see someone do something and then repeat it. It's the craziest thing.
That's exactly how I learned too. But it only
exists in makeup.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything else is just like, girl.
Well,
girl.
Not necessarily.
I can't do hair.
You probably just don't give yourself credit.
Maybe. I'm great at being a mom. I can do that with my eyes.
Right.
Right. But I think it's something special about makeup that, because I didn't ask for this. You know what I mean? But I just kept going. And when people ask me why I do it, I'm like, because I'm just doing the work of the Lord. Literally, that is my answer every time. God is putting this on my heart to keep doing. I did it broke. I did it when I was working at MAC. I had a day job. I was a teacher for deaf and hard of hearing kids. I would go there in the daytime. At nighttime, get my shifts. I would request for night shifts and work nights and close. And still had a 1-year-old. And then got pregnant while I was at MAC.
Right? Like another pivot.
We're just gonna keep it going. Yeah.
That is wild.
Insane.
But yes, MAC Cosmetics was such a huge launching pad for
sure.
a lot of us into the industry. And like you said, being a person that's there for the artistry, and then you quickly learn like, oh, this is a retail job. I have to balance, the sales. And then when it became more sales driven than the artistry, it began to feel like a prison. honestly.
It did.
And it took
It did.
years for people to like get the courage to get out, which I was one of those people. And it wasn't until my husband said like, "Hey, this job is stressing you out." It was to the point where I was getting anxiety. I would pull up to the job and have an anxiety attack and wouldn't want to go in and clock in. But he said, "You've been here for so long.
It's ran its
Your
course.
clients want you to work with them outside. Quit." Mind you, we just started dating.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Quit your job. I got you."
I love that.
And just begin to freelance. And I'm like, "How? Like, I don't even know
It
you
never
like that."
makes sense.
It
never
never
makes
makes sense.
It doesn't. I was doing makeup when I quit my job at Mac. I was doing makeup in the trunk. I was pull up. I'm telling you. I was working at European Wax Center and my clients wanted me to do makeup still. I would tell them to come on my lunch break and do their makeup in the trunk.
So you was selling albums out the trunk.
What? I love Master P. That's where I come from. This is where I come from. Master P, Hot Boys, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like,
By any
Jay-Z,
means.
like by any means necessary. That's how I've lived my career. Seriously, it's crazy.
So tell me what juncture of your career did you know, like, you know what? Now I want to actually tackle this from an entrepreneurial standpoint. I want to brand myself as a celebrity makeup artist. I'm ready to attract a more high-paying, high-ticket client to get me to wherever else I want to go in this industry. When in your career did you know that?
So I would say, which is crazy, because the beautiful thing about this journey is people have seen things in me that I've yet to see in myself. I had a mentor. She's phenomenal. Her name is Mila. And she comes from like the love and hip hop, the reality TV world. And I used to I was like a puppy dog, like following around these girls, like, oh my God, like, please, like, just give me, like, let me just be your assistant. Like, I assisted. I did a lot of assisting. And she referred me to a job that I didn't even know she referred me to. And I had been praying, like, Lord, I need to elevate. I need to elevate. I was ending a journey that I had with another client that kind of went a little south at the time.
Okay.
And I got a call and they say, "Hey, can you be in the Valley by like, I think it was like 2:00 or something." I didn't even know what it was for in particular, but they just said it was a big production. I get there. It was for a Beyonce music video.
Okay.
First of all, I get on this bus with my kid. I don't even know where I'm going. To the Valley. To the Valley. Like we went to the Valley. Then I went to the desert. Filmed this video, and I'm like sitting here like in awe. Like, what is God doing right now? And this girl, I'll never forget. She was a dancer, and I said, "You're not tired?" Because girl, I was tired. I had asked God for all of this. You know, you ask God for all of this, and then you sit there and you be like, "Oh, wait a minute, Lord.
I don't know.
This is a lot." She looked back at me and she said, "I'm just happy to be here." And I literally looked up at the sky and I just said, I have to live my life like this. Like, I'm just happy to be here. And then my gears start going, literally. Like, they start going. And when I realized that, I don't know if that probably was like my first time seeing my name in credits because I didn't even know what the project was for. And it ended up being for Black is King.
Wow.
And when my name was in the credits, I just cried because I was just like, okay, Lord, I see what you did there. You know what I mean? Like, and right then and there, I said to God, I said, whoever sits in my chair, please let them be of some kind of substance, like somebody that can feed my spirit and feed my soul. I don't want to touch anyone or be in the company of anyone that can't teach me.
And people don't understand how spiritual even being a makeup artist can be.
It is.
Because it can also be very draining. When you have those clients who sit in your chair that are going through so much and you're an empath and you can feel what they're going through. And then it becomes a therapy session on top of a makeup artist session. Like, people don't understand how taxing that can be doing it day in, day out, day in, day out. And I think that's what Mac taught me is that Mac taught us how to get our chops up as far as time,
Mhm.
right? But it also taught us, wow, these people don't really value the level of artistry
Yeah.
that we're giving, because
Yeah.
then it'll be like, okay, I can get this makeup, what, 50, just a $50 purchase? Oh, okay,
Mhm.
cool. Well, I'll just schedule it while you're at work.
Yeah.
And so that's what flipped the switch for me. Like,
Mhm.
yo, if they're paying this here, I was like, how are they gonna pay more outside of
Yeah.
here? But then I had to realize they're not paying for necessarily the makeup application.
They're paying
You're
for the
paying for the
experience.
experience.
Mhm.
You're paying for my expertise.
Yep.
You're paying for all the years I've been doing this. You're paying
Mhm.
for the efficiency in which I can do it.
Professionalism.
Yes, cleanliness and
Mhm.
the convenience of coming to you.
Absolutely.
And that totally changed my mind in like, how do I even price this? Because at first,
There's no price for it,
it's not.
But I feel like the more you work in this industry, you realize your value
Mhm.
and you don't undervalue yourself. And I mean, I still feel like I do it. Like this just happened to me, like probably a month ago. I realized I said, oh, I'm doing something wrong. So my gears are rolling because I'm like, I could be getting paid so much just for me to come and show up and be myself, number one.
Mhm.
And number two, provide you with a service where you know that it's gonna be exactly what you need and then
Mhm.
go home. That's
Right.
my favorite part of the whole thing. It's
Right.
going home.
Mhm.
So that's definitely something that's on the table for me, like moving into this next year, is really sitting down and writing down a number and
Mhm.
not blinking and being
Mm.
okay with it.
So what year was Black is King? So we can give people some
Ooh,
perspective.
I would say, yikes. Oh my God, the years just roll.
I know.
That had to be about maybe 4 or 5 years ago,
Okay.
maybe?
Because I'm trying to give
Maybe.
people a pin of like what year into your journey as a makeup artist did that moment happen for you? Because people also get it twisted thinking that you're going to be a
Right.
makeup artist for 2 days and then all of a
No.
sudden, so like, was that year 10 as a makeup
No, no,
artist?
no.
What?
This is my reference. This is
Mhm.
how I reference it. I
Mhm.
got my dog. This 'cause this is how I remember. I got a dog,
Uh-huh.
and then I
Oh,
looked and I
look.
said,
You done pulled it up.
"Oh, thank you."
Come
See,
on.
listen, I knew. Look,
You said
so
4 or 5 years
but
ago?
but we filmed it before it came
Yes.
out.
Mhm.
So I got my dog. He's about to be 6, so this had to be 5 years ago
Okay.
because I remember we filmed it, and I filmed 2 videos.
Mhm.
Um, and then I remember having to leave him because we just got him, and
Mhm.
like I said, he's about to be 6. So yeah, this was 5 years ago. But I've been doing makeup for 15 years because I relate that to how long I've been a mother.
Mhm.
Um, so literally after I did that video, I haven't stopped. I've only been doing makeup. That's it.
So listen. So technically then that moment happened
Mhm.
10 years into your journey
It
as a
sure
makeup
did.
artist.
It sure did. And that's what somebody told me. You will not touch gold until 10 years. And I didn't believe them. I said, you're crazy.
Even with that whole book, there's a book talking about putting in 10,000 hours.
Insane. I feel like I've heard of this before.
Yes. I want to say it's either a book called The Tipping Point or something like that. I can't
Okay.
remember, but it's this theory that in order to hit mastery level, you
Yeah.
have to have at least 10,000 hours in
That
your
makes sense to
craft.
me.
And so what I'm finding is that typically the sweet spot for people is about 10 years
Yeah.
into whatever it is that they're chasing.
And I'm not tired. That's the thing. Isn't that crazy? I'm not tired. I don't even feel like I've like peaked. That's the crazy. That's the even
That's the
more
wild
crazier
part.
part. Like it's so much that I want to do.
So after the Beyonce
Yeah.
gig, right? And you're like, wow, I'm in the credits of
Yeah.
2 films, because not even videos,
Yeah.
a docu-film for Beyonce,
Right.
right? What was like, what did your goal list begin to look like after that? Because now you've set the precedent.
Mm-hmm.
You see that it's more than possible.
Mm-hmm.
You were thrown into it because you
Yep.
were referred by a mentor that you have been following for some time.
Yep.
So now you also see like, hey, they trusted me with
Yeah.
something like this. That can
Uh-huh.
give you a totally different like perspective on yourself
Yeah.
and a confidence boost. So what did that do for you in regards to the jobs that you took after that?
I feel like after that, for me, when I see things at their peak, when I see things like where there's budget, there's no limits,
Mhm.
again, I start thinking, like I go deep into myself and I start really thinking like, okay, God, there's really no limits here. Let me think about what I really want to do.
Mhm.
Um, and for some reason, I realized that celebrities never did. They like they never were to me supposed to be my bread and butter.
Right.
I never wanted, I'm not gonna say I never wanted to be like, oh, a celebrity makeup artist, but in hindsight, I don't think that was ever my goal.
Mhm.
My goal was to be able to make people feel beautiful, to help them see like the best version of themselves. Like that was always my goal.
Mhm.
And whoever sat in my chair, that it's an even exchange of energy.
Mm.
So that's when for whatever reason, it popped into my mind. I said, I want to work with people that are not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera because they need to feel special too.
Mhm.
Because I kept coming across so many CEOs that were like, oh, I never can get glam. I never have time. And I was like, well, I have time. I could do it.
Mm.
So after that, I start getting CEOs in my chair, Black women, Black men
Mhm.
that, as quiet as it kept, were just as popular as celebrities.
Right.
So to me, I said, oh, and we're paying the same rate. So to
Wow.
me, it was just like, why am I trying to reinvent the wheel? There's so many makeup artists. I don't have to do this person, this person, this person, this person. My clientele is still going to be strong even when I'm doing just this one person.
Yes.
And that's literally what's happened for me.
And see, that was my thing that turned me off
Mm-hmm.
from the industry is that I started getting referred to celebrities and the experiences that I was having was
Yeah.
like, yo, I get first of all, the culture in the industry is hurry up and wait. That's just what it is sometimes.
Oh, very
Like you're
much.
on set. So I'm not
Very
upset at that.
much.
But when you see a celebrity client take advantage of that,
Mm-hmm.
and belittle you
Oh, yeah.
and all those things, I was like, no amount of money
Oh, yeah.
can have me put up with this.
Mhm.
And I remember doing a client that was the vibe, did the makeup. It wasn't even my best makeup because of just the environment, right? And I got called before I can even pull out of her driveway, like, hey, she wants to know if you can come and like do this Pepsi commercial tomorrow.
Right.
And I said, not at all.
Yeah.
And people are like, you passed up on a $10,000 gig, something that was going to pay you 10 racks for one day.
Because at the cost of your
Yes,
soul, it's never worth it.
that
You have
part,
to know your worth.
that part,
And I'm not talking about just money,
that part.
you know? You
Because
have
I'm like, I'm not about to subject myself to this
Mhm.
type of environment if I
Right.
know I'm going to be drained and no good for the people that matter the most to me when I get home.
Right.
Because, like you said, the best part about the job is going home.
Oh, it is. And I think for me,
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like people laugh at it, like they know, because they know.
Mhm.
They laugh at it, but they know. Camille's not hanging. Camille's not hanging around. I'm not taking no pictures with nobody.
Mhm.
I'm literally doing my job and going home because the real celebrities are at home waiting for me, my children,
Mm.
you know, and they don't care about if I had a horrible day. They just want their mom.
Mhm.
They just want me. So for me, I've always had that separation. And my whole thing was I never wanted to be upset going to work.
Mhm.
I always wanted to be kind of focused. And when I'm working, I don't take calls.
Mhm.
I don't like to be on my phone.
Mhm.
I like to just do the job, focus on that, give this person my undivided attention. And when I feel like, okay, now it's like you're taking advantage, I gotta go. I gotta go.
Listen.
I gotta go. I got something else to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And even if I don't have anything else to do, or even if I don't have another client, you don't need to know that. No
Right.
one's ever gonna know what I'm doing or where I'm at. Just know that I'm busy doing something.
Booked and busy,
Something.
people, okay? Because when I tell you she is running up this bag and has been for the past 15 years, it is wild to see. I think, too, I'm gonna tell you something very, like, something I can be very vulnerable about, right? There was a moment in my career where I was like, why are my friends getting all of these jobs and
Oh,
getting on
yeah,
all of these
for
sets
sure.
and I'm not? What's wrong with me? But don't you know I had to come to the realization one day I was like, well, one day God told me, you don't even want to be there.
That part.
So why are you
That part.
concerned about
It's
them
not for
being on the set?
everybody.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, I don't, set life is not for everyone.
It's not.
I worked 2 jobs where it was like 12 hours plus, and I was just like, nah.
It's insane.
You have to be built for it.
You do.
You really do. Or you have to really be in an environment where it's so enjoyable that you're not focused on the time.
You're not.
But yeah, and God telling me that, I was then able to free myself in a way where I can 100% celebrate my friends that were in those spaces.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone likes to say that out loud, but like for a moment, it was like, I'm coveting what they have.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why? I don't even want it. Like, I don't want it in the way that they have it. And so I want to tell this to somebody out there, like, you may be in the same industry with somebody, whether it's music, whether it's makeup, whether you're a CEO or an entrepreneur of a company. Please do not ever compare yourself to somebody else's journey and they wins, because you really have to check your heart and even see like, yo, why do I even want this? Is it because I want the things that come with it? Is it because there's something in me that doesn't feel whole? So I feel like I need to chase after something to feel like I matter? Because that was a huge thing for me too.
Yeah.
I had to really get real with myself.
It's an ego thing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. When you check your ego, it hits different.
Yes. And I was like,
different.
I have to be real with myself. I'm only chasing certain goals so that I can say I did it. Not because I genuinely want to do it and be a part of it. And that can even in turn affect the type of work that you turn out.
It's true. I mean, I think for me, like, my latest thing is I don't work on Sundays.
Amen.
I don't want to work on Sundays. I've made it a point to I've given myself freely to people for 15 years. 15 years is a very long time. I mean, I'm doing gigs in between baseball games, softball games. My kid's in the car coming to games for 5 minutes. All right, you guys, I'm gonna see y'all later. You taking baby girl home for me? I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I think what God is telling me in this season of my life is that everything is gonna be okay. Like, you don't have to chase. You don't have to, like, I'm no longer in survival mode anymore.
That part. Say that again.
I'm not in survival mode anymore. Like, I don't have to take every job. I just turned down a job recently because I didn't like the way she treated me last time. And I remembered that. Mind you, she posted these pictures. She never tagged me. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I still got paid. But it was very undercut for me. So I said, you're not the type of person I want to work with. So I had to tell my agent, don't book me. She's not kind. I don't need, and what happens for me now with how God works, when I say no to one thing, because I ask him first, when I say no, 3 more things pop up.
Come on.
I can't make this up. Like, I'm sitting here right now and I would say I don't have a job, but my thing is I don't have a job today.
Right.
I can't tell you what tomorrow is going to bring. I don't know, because he's put my name in rooms that I'm not even privy to yet. And I'm so thankful for it, and I feel it and I know it, you know?
Let me ask you this. Do you happen to have like an anchor scripture that you lean on when, say it is a rough patch, say it is quiet and there are no jobs coming in, say you've done some jobs but you haven't got paid yet, because people don't want to talk about that. Some of these jobs you get paid.
I'm chasing 2 invoices right
6
now.
months later, sometimes a year.
Yes.
Like, have you had those moments where you've kind of questioned or been like, even as an entrepreneur, because mind you, she has her own makeup line. She has her brow products and stuff like that. Has there ever been a moment where you're like, yo, stuff is looking kind of low. I've invested into my business.
Yeah.
There's no jobs coming in.
Yeah.
What does that look like with you and God?
You know, I remember I saw this video with Tiana Taylor. I don't know if you ever saw. I think it was like an interview with Angie Martinez.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
And I just remember, like, when she was saying, like, her relationship with God. And I don't know if you remember this brand long time ago where it said, Jesus is my homeboy.
Yes. We used to sell it up against the wall.
Right. Exactly. So she made this comment and she's like, when I'm talking to God, like I get real tight. Like, what's up?
Mm.
I get real tight with God. Like, Lord, what are we doing? Because I don't know. I'm tired. You're probably tired of me being tired. So, and I feel like for me, like, I feel like one of them is definitely going to be, I can do all things with Christ who strengthens me for sure. And another scripture, don't get me to lying, but it's blessed when I walk in or blessed when I walk out.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
So I really try to anchor my life in knowing that it's already done. It's already done. Anything that I'm complaining about, that's just me being ungrateful. Like that's just me operating in my flesh. You know what I mean? It's me in my flesh. My spiritual mind, oh, she's already touched millions. She's already retired in my spiritual being. For sure. For sure.
When do you see yourself retiring?
Probably 6 years, maybe. I don't know.
That would be amazing to like do it
Maybe.
at the 20-year mark.
Maybe.
Do you know how, first of all, the way that the society and our government is set up with them keep on like moving the bar for people to retire at 70 and 75. In a minute, it's going to be 90. You know what I mean?
I don't want that for me.
But to say,
maybe.
To even be in a position, I'm not saying that'll be the thing, but to be in a position where you're like, I can retire.
It's a number that keeps running in my head. I can't help it. When I have kids that have dreams, my son wants to go to the MLB. You know what I mean? So to me, that's my next job. I'm going to be a momager, running things.
Come on.
Hiring people that didn't have a chance. You know what I mean?
And then looking at your journey and being like, that's the reason why, God, you really had me make a makeup brand so I can know how to manage.
Because I know this is not it for me.
Exactly.
I know it's not.
You know what? Let's speak to, because I think this is a very important thing. Letting go of things.
Ooh.
When God tells you this has run its course. Because us as humans, like in our human experience, we look at, I spent this much time and I've invested this much and I can't do that. And what about this person and that person? How are they going to feel? But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing I don't care about how anybody else feels but me. Because if I'm not feeling well, nobody's feeling well. And what that often necessitates is making decisions of what to hold on to and what needs to be let go of. Yeah. Describe a time in your life where you had to let go of something and people weren't really a fan of what it looked like.
You know what's crazy? And I always kind of like go back and forth with this and how people view me. Like I'm a villain in somebody's story and I'm okay with that. I think that I don't know if I've ever cared about what people think about me. I'm not sure. Maybe when I was a kid. But that's before I knew like who I was. Right. And I feel like God has been having me on this journey of knowing myself. And it's a tough one. And I think like the most recent thing for me, like the hardest thing was my marriage. And being content with it, mourning a marriage inside of a marriage. Like that, people don't even understand how isolating that is. You know what I mean?
Explain. You said mourning a marriage inside of a marriage?
Mourning your marriage as you're married. When you know. When you already know. And it's crazy because I went through a death in my family. And I'll never forget, and my heart is beating so fast because it's like, my stepfather passed away a year ago. On his deathbed, he celebrated me. Could you imagine someone that has 2 weeks to live telling you how amazing you are and running down all the things you've done in your life and how amazing you've been to them? Could you imagine what that feels like? I'm sitting here, ugly tears, just, but you're dying. He said, where I'm going, I'm gonna be okay because I know you gonna be okay. My whole mindset just went like it was like I glitched.
Mm.
And I dream a lot. I dream a whole lot. We've had these
Girl, yes.
conversations. I dream a lot. And this particular time, I was looking in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself because I had been on autopilot.
Mm.
I felt the presence of God. He came behind me and he like almost removed glasses, like
Mhm.
rose-colored glasses. And I started seeing the world so clear and it was so devastating to me because I couldn't understand why he would even put these thoughts in my head. And I had to say to him, Lord, if this is what you want, if this is you and this is something that you need me to do,
Mhm.
tell me what to do. I begged him for months. Tell me what to do because at this point we're at odds.
Mhm.
My ex-husband and I were at odds.
Mhm.
And he said, "Be still." That's all he said. Be still. So I'm like blinking. What? That's
That's
it?
it?
That's it? That's all you got for me?
But people forget that other half of that be still is be still and know
And no,
that I am God.
I said nothing. When I tell you, you seen that meme where it says God comes through like a Rico?
Yeah.
The moment I like, and what else was crazy was people were coming to me that didn't even know me. I had like 3 people. This lady came to me. She looked at me and she said, "You know you're gonna be okay. God told me to tell you you're gonna be okay, you and your kids." I said, "Excuse me? What?"
Come on with the confirmation.
I went in this other store trying to, because at this point I'm desperate.
Mhm.
I went in the store getting all these candles, these crystals, and all these things.
Uh-oh. You know I've been down that
Right,
path.
you already know. You already
Man,
know.
listen.
You already know.
Yes.
The lady looked at me and she said, "Put it down." She goes, "Put it down. Breathe. You're at a crossroads in your life and you need to make a decision. You don't want to, but you have to."
Ooh. Not with the rebuke and the advice.
Hello. Work was crazy at the time. So many things. And I still didn't fold. Still did not fold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, God. All right. Okay. I'm listening. Things are happening. I bowed out in the most graceful way. Let me tell you how God works.
Mm.
The moment I made the decision, and you know, I'm a very, very humble person.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on a Friday, booked a job in Montana doing a movie on a Monday. I've traveled more this summer than in my entire life,
Mm-hmm.
simply off of working.
Mm-hmm.
God healed me from the inside out through my work, through just being with my kids, and just like being still. So that's why I said I was already mourning within my marriage. And when I chose to choose myself,
Mm-hmm.
which was so hard, like, why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
It got so crazy. People like, and mind you, I'm not a social media person. I did not put this on social media.
Yeah.
People were in my DMs saying, "I'm praying for you." Do you know what my response was? Please don't. Because you don't know what to pray for in specifics.
Woo.
Girl,
You like, don't pray me back
don't
into it.
don't do that.
Don't-
Because I didn't pray myself out of this. Do not pray me
That
back into
part.
this.
Okay, so we had talked
We definitely talked.
and I actually don't even remember everything
You
because
told me
when
this
the Holy
7 months
Spirit,
prior. Remember, this was 7. No, this was 7. Yeah, this was 7 or a year prior. We talked
yes.
about this.
So the Holy Spirit, whenever he's talking through me, like I don't remember everything, but I remember talking to you and being on some like, I need to pray for you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but something is happening. And then you shared, but not. Like you
Right.
didn't tell me any detail. And then I was like, oh, okay, I
Yeah.
get it. We ended up talking. And then it triggered something. I said, Camille, remember, I text you about a dream that I had concerning you.
Yep.
I said, go back in your text thread. And I found it.
Insane.
And it was a dream where I was like, you were moving out of your house.
Insane, right?
And she was like, oh my God.
And I hadn't even told you anything at that point.
Right.
Nobody, like, I don't tell. That's the thing about me. I don't really, like, I've learned to not share certain parts of my life.
It's great.
Simply because I just want to hear from God. I don't need to hear my homegirl.
And this opinion.
That opinion, because you're not me.
Mm-hmm.
And no one knows how I significantly feel on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Not the outside, but the inside.
Except for God.
Except God. God knows my heart. So what better person to talk to about my heart than the person that already knows it
and created
it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was just a matter of surrendering.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. Surrendering to whatever my life was going to look like and falling down the rabbit hole like, ooh, okay, well, this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at peace with whatever it is. Like, and it's so crazy too, because people coming to me like, I don't know what's different about you, but you're so happy and you're so glowing. I'm like, well, dang, what did I look like before? But it was just survival, just that tight look of just looking like survival.
Because especially with you and your work, like your work can even become a safe space. So you're stressed, you're working. You're happy, you're working. Like you bury yourself in work. So if people around you don't have that level of discernment,
right,
or are not tapped in spiritually, they're just looking at like, oh, she busy.
Yeah.
But not understanding like, no, there's some turmoil happening.
But only people that are tapped in with the spirit and they have that spirit of discernment, they see you. It's a different kind of It's a different kind of situation. Like I had somebody look at me and say, like, you're so beautiful, but you look sad.
Mm-hmm.
How would you know that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a connection to that's a central connection to the spirit. And I only choose to operate with people who are connected to God.
Listen.
That is so important for me. Listen. I can't so it's like one of those things that people are like, Camille, you really don't like people. I'm like, it's not that I don't like people. I don't like energies.
We both have a level of discernment where like we can meet somebody, be cordial and all that. And then after the fact be like, I'm cool on them though. Like,
and I'm always right.
Yes.
I'm always right.
That's
so you can't say my track record always speaks for itself. Girl, I'm always right.
I had an instance, and I can't even say the people,
right?
But it's in the industry. I was at a listening event and for a big artist, and I met said artist's close person.
Yeah.
And we're talking, just a group of people, just having fun, laughing, and they stepped away. And I turned to somebody and I was just like, yeah, I don't trust him.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? That's such and such.
Right. You're so confused.
I was like, no, I don't care. I was like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But he's going to be the downfall, blah, 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 blah. And they was like, you sound crazy. 7 years later.
Hello.
7
It might not happen then.
It never happens then, which makes you even look and sound more crazy.
Yeah.
But the moment it happened, somebody was like,
yeah, they called you. They remembered.
You called it. I said, I don't be knowing what it is. I just know that it's something. It just doesn't sit well in my spirit.
Yeah.
And I've always been like that.
That's a thing. When it doesn't sit well in my spirit, I can't roll. Like I have significant boundaries. Like, and I feel like that's how I've been able to sustain in this industry because I have boundaries. I've worked with male artists. Like I can laugh about this kind of stuff. And people are like, girl, what? I literally just told somebody the other day because I was setting up and about to do a makeup and I think she probably put a glass or something like on my stage and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, and I was like, it's cool. It's not a problem. I was like, she was like, I know people probably do like weird stuff. And I was like, that's not weird to me. And then she kind of kept going. I said, girl, I've had someone sit their gun on top of my setup. They looked at me, I looked at them, and I kept working. Insane. So you can't tell me that I haven't been in the company of craziness. My eyes have seen things, but as my therapist has told me before, like, make sure you always cover your eye gates, your ear gates, your mouth gates. Know what you're taking in. I don't consume everything. It's not what it is. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just not.
I think you're a
So
walking example of being in the world, but not of it.
I'm not at all. Like my mom has always taught me, like, you put your pants on the same way as everyone else. So just because they have more money than you doesn't make them different. They
Or
all have
better.
the same or better. They all, and I've seen it with my own eyes. People really have demons. I see it. It sticks out.
Can I challenge you to do something next time you
Please.
see it?
Please, because I'm trying to tell you, things are happening already with you. So what you need from me?
No, like when you see that stuff, because once again, you're in that space to be a
Yeah.
light. So you're able to see the demons because you
Mhm.
are the light.
Yeah.
That also means that you have a responsibility
Mhm.
to do what you can in the spiritual realm on your end because you can see what it is that you see. So next time I challenge you, because people think that it means you got to walk up to the person and lay hands on them and hum da la la sha la la,
Right.
But because you have the gift of dreams and God speaking to you in that way, I would challenge you now to be like, God, I need you to show me exactly what's going to be on this set that I'm going into tomorrow.
I like that.
What do I need to pray against?
Mm-hmm.
Who needs deliverance?
Yeah.
If I'm in the capacity to do that for them,
Mhm.
have me to do it in a way that is not distracting to what we have going on.
I like that.
Or even pray for that person or whoever's going to be on set before you even get there, blessing your space, blessing the space before
like that.
even anybody gets there. Because that's the thing. People think,
That's important.
yeah, because people
real
think that it's
important.
always about physically laying hands, but
Oh,
we don't
no.
wrestle against flesh and blood. We wrestle against principalities.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
a lot of the warfare is in the spirit. So it's
Hello.
your prayer life.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would challenge you. If you
I like
start to
that.
see that, ask God to give you the revelation before
Uh-huh.
so you know how to pray against it
Yeah.
and you know how to cover yourself being in the environment.
I like that. I think I wish I had that on the last job that I had. You see what I'm saying? On the last job that I had. But God again came through.
Yeah.
Swept me up. And I just was like, it's just no. I'ma just because I could easily be Quisha.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because I got a pookie. You know what I mean? But I literally just get quiet and I'm just like, Lord, please just be my mouthpiece. Just be my peace. You know what I'm saying? And my latest thing is I'm just gonna let God fight my battles. Lord, handle my lightweight. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I'm older.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean spiritually.
Yes.
I'm older. I just don't have the energy anymore. Even when I find myself wanting to be crazy, it's like, this is not really you, girl. What are you doing?
Mhm.
And I'm sleepy. I got to go take a nap. It's too much.
Come on.
It's too much.
Because the naps are essential these days.
What is that about?
We needed to get by.
I need a nap at least 2 times a day.
And for us to be drinking as much coffee as we do, how do we need these naps?
I don't know. The coffee's not doing it.
It's not anymore.
Doing it anymore.
So before we wrap up, because we got to get out of here like soon, it's one thing that you brushed across that I think is very important. A lot of times people in the faith space or Christians in particular they think that I'm just going to give everything to God. But you mentioned therapy. Talk about the importance of therapy and your faith.
Therapy is essential. I got tired of trying to do these self-help books. They weren't working.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a therapist that it is actually a pastor.
Okay.
She saw me from the moment she met me.
Mm-hmm.
I was in therapy for about 3 years straight. My son, what triggered it is my son was in a terrible car accident.
Okay.
And I lost myself for a long time, and I became very shut in.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I got to fix myself and I got to fix my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I started therapy, best decision of my life. So now I know how to I know my triggers.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to deal with people. I know how to talk people off the ledge.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to deal with myself and my own crazy because I've accepted the fact that I am a walking disaster sometimes, but I'm also a work of art too. And whatever it is I choose to be, it's because God has made me this way. Infinitely so. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
And I don't want to be nothing that I'm not supposed to be.
Whew.
So
That part. So that's where I am in my journey. I'm undoing a lot of things because I'm like, a lot of this has been labels that I've put on or allowed people to ascribe to me.
yeah.
And I need to be who God created me to be and
Yeah.
only do the things that He's called me to do, even if it looks crazy to everybody on the
Exactly.
outside. Last thing, because I think it's important that we give you your flowers before you leave. My girl has been a part of some historic music videos. From the illustrious K Dot, as we know him in the hood, but Kendrick Lamar. I happened to see you at the Not Like Us video shoot. I was actually out there taking my baby.
Chevy.
Yeah, I wanted to go out there and just take my baby to be a part.
That
But
was beautiful.
you also just did what's the video name? Squabble Up.
I didn't even know what I was doing, but it was great.
That is hilarious.
Hilarious.
That
Nobody
is hilarious. So he's just y'all. They just playing the songs. Y'all like we
there
don't know
was
what
no
it's
music.
for. Are you kidding me?
No.
So they just shot everything.
Whoever was supposed to know the song knew the song, and that was it. And they said, just go with it.
That is wild. Come on with the clip
right there.
Shout out to
All
old
of
girl
that.
in the back. What's her name?
Storm. That's
Yes,
the girl.
Storm DeBarge. I
All
love
that.
her.
I love her too.
Come on. But yes, so
Mhm.
I just wanted to give you your flowers
Thank
because
you.
I remember you when one of the first things that you said to me when I met you was, I want to work in the industry and I want to have this type of clientele. And I think I might possibly even want some type of product in the future. And
I'm 3 for
literally,
3.
yes, literally everything that she said, she is currently doing and then some. But I think one thing that I'm admired by with you is your work ethic,
Thank you.
especially with the amount of responsibility that you have with your kids, and also being a wife, during that time.
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just carrying a household and being at the games and being at the practices and taking the clients and having a beauty studio and then moving the studio to the house. And then no matter what was thrown your way, the one thing that stayed consistent is that I have this goal, this goal, this goal, and I'm going to do something every single day to make sure I get to those goals on top of making sure that I pour into my kids and their goals.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say so much that I love you.
Love you.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm always celebrating you. We don't have to talk every day. You already know what it is. we barely talk, actually. But when we link
Those
up,
are my best friends, though.
That's so crazy. Because when we link up, it's like
no time has passed.
Nothing has passed. And I'm just so grateful to have you in my life, to be one of those sounding boards, to champion me and all my crazy and the changes and the pivots that I make. You've never been judgmental. And you've never belittled me. And I just want to thank you so much. And for you to say that I was somebody that you wanted to be when I was younger, you and your work ethic is something that I aspire to achieve in whatever it is that I do or whatever it is that God has me to do in my next. So thank you.
All right. We don't want to mess up our makeup.
Right. Girl, I don't care. It's over now. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you follow Camille Ariane on her Instagram. It is at Camille Ariane. Please check out her brand and her website. It is www.camillearianemakeup.com. She is a dope makeup artist. Yes, she does the celebrities, but you can also book her yourself for your special occasion. I'm wearing her eyebrow pencil. Can we zoom in on this?
Yeah, let's get into these brows.
It's really the only eyebrow pencil I use. So every time y'all ask me what am I using, it's her eyebrow pencil, Camille Ariane Makeup, brows, and my favorite color, blonde brown. Period. I love it. So yes, support her, buy her stuff. It works. I ditched my MAC spiked for this, and it's amazing. So yes, I love you. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you next week. But let me say this before I leave. Put God first in all that you do. Take all your questions to God. Take all your frustrations to God. He can handle that too. You, even at your ugliest self, He can handle that. And He wants that. And He wants to see that, because the more real you can get with yourself and with God, the more he can show you exactly what it is that you need to let go of and more of what you need to lean into so you can be your best self and really experience the exceedingly and abundantly and the life that he wants you to live
Mm.
through him. So have a good one. I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.